Hello friends, so last night I had this very strange dream that I was swimming in the sea and having a good time, frolicking in some shallow waters near the beach, when all of a sudden I was squirted, for lack of a better word, with this weird dark liquid. I mean, I was already of course wet, since I was swimming in water, but this new substance that I was now imbued in, well, it definitely wasn't water, but, well, I don't know what it was, but before I could figure it out, my alarm woke me up, unfortunately, and this weird dream ended. But a few hours later, as I was going about my day, for some reason I had the sudden urge to look up the etymology of the word squid. Now I'm not sure what prompted this sudden desire, but I obliged, and chose not to resist the temptation to learn its origin story. And it turns out that the etymology of squid is actually unknown, officially, but there's a theory I thought was interesting, that it comes from the verb squirt. And what would a squid squirt? Well, its signature ink, of course. According to the theory, sailors at some point started calling this mysterious animal a squid, probably after they were squirted by one. And by the way, squirt is a funny sounding word. Turns out it's likely ultimately onomatopoeic, or literally something that produces its own name, and that represents the sound it makes, as in squirt. Well, you get the idea. So anyway, that's the etymology of squid, but such a juicy origin story got my juices flowing, so to speak, and so I was now curious whether the word for squid in other languages also had such inky connotations. And it turns out that, yes, although unlike English, most other languages focus on the ink itself, rather than what a squid does with it. If you're familiar with any Romance, Slavic, or Turkic language, for example, then you may be familiar with one or more variants of kalmar, which all descend from the ancient Greek kalamos, which referred to a reed pen, which was dipped in ink for use in writing. Interestingly, in addition to multiple descendants meaning squid, the ancient Greek word also has multiple descendants denoting some sort of writing tool. For example, the Arabic kalam, the Turkish kalam, and the Swahili kalamu. So yes, in other words, in many modern languages, a squid is just a container full of ink, and a giant squid is just a giant tank full of ink, which, as the English version of the word reminds us, it occasionally squirts out, spraying everyone nearby, for example, an unfortunate sailor or two. So anyway, this dream I had last night, I guess in hindsight, that mystery substance was most likely squid ink. And so was this dream some sort of weird, random, inky fantasy, or was it rather a subliminal message that I should have some risotto for lunch? You know that Italian recipe with the squidding sauce? Well, who knows, but I'm hoping it's the latter, because it's delicious. Which reminds me, I'm kinda hungry. It's time to eat. Thanks for watching.